Sanhok kind of went the way we saw Miramar go. Not a sentence I ever thought I'd be saying, but that's kind of how it went. We saw,
wasn't it?
Yeah, NIP, TSM. It felt literally like a
Single
mirrored
on
scenario,
player.
like a little bit different. Erangel will be completely different though. I'm calling it right now. Completely different. NIP's dying first. TSM, I don't know, blow up a car themselves. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be the same. It's not
We're
gonna be
going
the same.
home, Lauren. We're going home. You know what I'm excited for?
What are you excited for?
And what makes this even now harder to play? Next season, if new Erangel and when new Erangel comes into
I want
play.
to play it so, but it's weird
It's
watching
so
this.
hard to play now because now and again I'll find myself like trying to talk about people not rotating on beaches because there's like fallen BRDMs everywhere, and
It's like,
we had last week. You know what?
like the military island alone. Did you? Have you seen that runway? It's
Last
so
week
good.
we had a runway finish, and it was linear. It was
Imagine
what we
that.
normally do.
You can play it.
You can literally play it. There's exploded potholes. There's a frigging
I love
BRDM on its ass just pointing up in
love
air.
it.
There's water. There's planes. It's just how PUBG should be. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
Chat just wrote Vikendi comp. Lol.
You sit. No, what even? No, let's not do that.
No, I actually really want to see the new Erangel come into it because it's weird when you play this game so much and then your brain's just like, that's what it is now. You know when games get updated and you kind of forget what it used to be like when CSGO used to have like different sounds completely, and then you hear it back then you're like, I don't remember what. And it's like when I come back and I watch this, I'm like, it's so different now.
Yeah.
We have been blessed.
It's not even the same map. Let's be
No,
real.
not at all.
The foundations are there of it, but the whole thing's just been so well done. Honestly, for me, next time round they do that with Miramar. Like Miramar's really grown on me. Miramar has really got to be
You
a
always
good.
liked a bit of Miramar.
I've never
You
not
played
liked it. I definitely think there's things
I was
that
in
could
the
be
cynical
better.
camp.
I still think that it could do with a loot rebalance or a adjustment like what Erangel got.
Yeah.
Increase that, fix some of the vehicle spawns. You got a pretty damn good map on his hands. Tweak it around, put a few more bits here and there. Vikendi, if that came in, too many compounds.
I like Vikendi.
I like it.
I want to
think
just watch the world burn. Give me Vikendi, Sodom, put it in there, let's go. Have a bit of it. It'll be good fun. Just put it in there. It's fine. People will love it eventually.
Vikendi Grand Finals, snipers increased by 2.
Oh, give me that. Give me that. What's wrong with that? You were like, oh, Chris, I love you when you have a sniper rifle. And now you're like, oh, I don't like sniper rifles.
Oh no, I love it.
Yeah,
I'm not
then
saying there's
what's
nothing
the
wrong with
problem?
it.
What's the problem?
Oh, nothing. I'm just saying it'd be hell in a cell. Then again, that's what we're going for. We get the viewership out of it, right? Let them fight.
I'd like it. Look, I'm just apparently, you know, I just
You
I
just like peeing people off.
You don't even swear these days. What a good boy you are. Speaking of the goodest boys,
have a
we're
family.
about to... And you must feed them, is that it?
Yes.
How cutthroat is PUBG Corp? Jeez. All right, we're going to Erangel. It's time to get back to where it all began. Let's have a look here. Let's see who's going to pick it up. Will it be NIP, TSM in the final top 3, top 2? We'll find out. I'm not sure just yet, but there's a lot of teams, some very big names, very big players who haven't really turned up today.
Birds in the air. And she's quite kind to a lot of rosters. We start off over to the left-hand side of Sosnovka. And we end in Severny. That's quite a long drop for FaZe Clan. That would be intense to get over there. So you'd expect them, the whole reason that they're out of the plane is like we saw on the second game of Miramar. They'll get down, they'll get the boots on the ground, they'll do the usual thing. Same scenario goes for TSM. Getting over to Miltra at this point, it'd be difficult, a bit long. And they'd find themselves in rough terrain with G2. The harder scenario here for TSM is they're in the same boat of FaZe Clan, so they'll be fighting for whatever kind of vehicles, weapon, anything that they can get, because you've got mxey who will always go this far down to the southern shoreline, take that main compound for himself. He'll also steal the vehicle. So for TSM, they're going to be playing for scraps. You might get some sort of a long drop to a vehicle, then head over to Novo. Honestly, that would be the best place and best thing to do in this scenario because of how little they're going to be given.
Yeah, Give him a little beep beep. Nice, nice, nice.
Emote him, Rory, to say thank you. Oh, that's a... Oh,
We're going to Zaki. Do you know, I've never cast a game that's ended, like... Actually, no, tell a lie, there was one game that I casted. This is like early PUBG. I think potentially before the land ratio stuff came in.
Yes.
Where it was like I just remember old TSM fighting in North Georgia Bowl. Like they literally didn't have to leave. They moved out to the hills and they died on that hillside. I just like that was my one memory of it. And it kind of ended. That was when Scoom like won the game, wasn't it? Or did something crazy. It was me and Steve casting at Oakland, and it was in that small house. It was in the field.
I remember. And he turned.
Yeah,
he
like
turned and just bodied everybody.
Yeah, that's literally the last time I can remember a real finish up towards that side. I guess there was some on the cliff in the north, but it's so rare now.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's difficult to get that scenario because of the land ratio, because it's such a, as you mentioned, it's like a shark fin up there on its own.
Let us pray for Zaki. Thoughts and prayers.
Hey, look, anything can happen, but it takes up to 3 circles to get there, right? If it starts going central, then we potentially get it.
But then we all know what's more likely to happen is it just ends on Everest. I don't know how. You look at the percentage, it should, probably shouldn't, but...
And everybody dies.
We'll see. I want it to go to Zaki. I really enjoy it.
How many teams make it there, though? Does anyone die on rotation here? TSM have gone to Nova, but they're late, so they're going to be under-geared.
If anyone camps the 4-stack, where DA currently are, I'd say maybe someone gets picked up.
In my opinion, you deserve to if you're driving past that, because everyone knows that someone's always in there, and if you are, stupid is what stupid does. If you drive past that little shack, or it's even a shack, the little compound you want to say, it's just a turret. Why are you going to do that? You're stupid.
Well, you think about the options, right? As much as you like saying it's stupid, where else are you going to go at some point?
Everest.
Just sit on Everest.
Sit
like,
on
what are you
the
gonna
mountain.
Think? Oh, I'm not saying don't just drive there for leisure
Scouting.
purposes. I'm saying how do you get north? Because you're not going to want to go through... maybe I guess you could take it over by reciprocity, go up north, just east of Roshok, use those bridges. That's fine. Go through the open territory. I get it.
Honestly, the better play might be the old FaZe play here. Head on the eastern coast and go up north.
God, I was wondering what you were saying. I was like, what?
Legit, like
rotations?
with how many small choke points there are in the southern area, and that the fact that you're going to have NIP just doing whatever they want towards between Hospital and South George, they might even take over. Actually, I can see they've completely split the North George as well, that they are taking over. So there is potential here. You get a few of those that send it up the east and then just come in around where ENCE are. M24 in the water. Unless this is what Gax is eyeing up, you know, because he's just...
Would he?
He's on the cliff. Is he going to get a boat and go for it?
He's on the cliff. I like the way NIP is slightly believing that Zaki might happen, and that's bringing me deep, deep joy. And now this is what I was going to kind of bring up to you when you mentioned that no one goes there because everyone always plays it. There becomes that point where no one plays it because no one goes there on that bridge. So it becomes viable again. It's that weird, like, fear of something. There used to be a phrase called fear of the nade in Call of Duty. If someone did the same nade 3 rounds in a row, the 4th round you wouldn't have to do it because they're going to expect it to be there so you can save it. So it's like Team Liquid can just go across. They probably scouted it well enough anyway. So they're going to go for it. Richard just said basically, you know, in no easy way of putting it, that Liquid are stupid for taking that bridge and they need to watch the demos back and mute
They
the
saw
VODs.
DA leave.
Nah,
I'm not having that. They watched DA leave.
I can't believe you'd say that about them. I can't believe you'd say that in front of their fans.
They watched DA leave.
Feel free to tweet him.
There's a professional way of approaching that compound, and that's exactly what they did. Please don't find me.
Very nice back pedal.
There
That
you
was
go.
beautiful. Very well done. You must be married.
Wait. Oh, no, this is the wrong bridge. I'm going to say.
Oh, Richard.
I'm just claiming all bridges
Drowning.
as stupidity now.
No, I love
YOLO.
it. I love it. Well, to be fair, I was going to go flame Froz and James when they played in the game, but I think it's
It was
just
me.
low
I think it was
hanging
me
fruit.
and Froz at one point, but I don't want to say all.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't good either.
Let's take a quick look further afield then and suggest, or at least preempt where people are going to be going and what people are doing. NIP are in North George. They'll be watching those fields. That's open for them should we have a circle that's going to be ending up that way. Desperados, they're watching the main road up in the south, so if someone does want to come flying down towards a bit deeper, a lot of the teams are banking on it going up that way. DA have taken a nice little compound. They've gone between 2-2 as well. So a bit more residency and something to play between, bopping back and forth should they have to.
Do you know what? I actually hate this compound. I hate it so much.
Let me just think where this one is. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, this is the one where
you can't
do anything.
You see nothing. You have that little hill that they can see down at you. You can see maybe their tootsies.
But you can't approach it, can you?
No, not
It's
at all.
awful.
It's just, I absolutely detest it. You know, you go to a place, you're like, I always die here. That's it for me.
I mean, for DA, if they're playing passive, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's fine. They don't have to do anything. They
they just sit there and it's like, well, bye-byes. We'll just wait for the old circle to come flying our way, and that's fair.
Every time I just get shot from the hill that's kind of to the... Oh, I'm trying to orientate myself on the map. But it's like the hill that's a little bit sheerer that you can just...
Yep.
Every time. Anyway, my gripe aside, Gaxi could lay waste here. This could be bit... Gaxi's made a mess of himself. He's done a bad thing. What are you up to?
Did he switch or did he catch the weapon on the wall?
I don't know if he might have double switched or something. Luckily, Miracle is bailing him out and then some. Gaxi's gone down anyway. Big moves from Edelweiss. Good dodging maneuvers. I don't know if it was a double switch by accident. There's no reason to do it in this game, but people, if they have it on his mouse wheel, I don't know. He's done something terribly wrong.
Something went wrong.
Yes.
That's what we can safely say. Speaking of going wrong, this vehicle is just veering off the side of the road, up in flames. Tiikzu does confirm. Bit of fin-on-fin action. mxey goes down. That should be the confirmation should they go cresting this hill. The rest of Team Liquid, let us fly on by. Please don't kill us, boys. We are just minding our own business here. Nice weapon to do it with as well. 4 times SLR silence. Beautiful gun.
Some of Team Liquid's rotations are just terrifying the way they send it.
When you look at some of them, it feels fearless.
It does, and I love it in a way, but it's also very scary to watch when it doesn't work. So it's that weird kind of like, I don't want to criticize it because sometimes I'll say and be like, that was awesome when it works out. So it's like that high risk, high reward sort of situation. And you know what, sometimes it's very fun to watch. Na'Vi are okay. They're not, you know, somewhere ridiculous. They are actually safe in the circle. They're just opting maybe for another way forward. Maybe going to find a little compound here. A lot of the teams believing this could go north.
It's quite clever from Na'Vi.
Thoughts and prayers now. Put your thoughts and prayers in chat. Saki.
Saki.
Take me there.
It'd be clever if Na'Vi have preempted that boat in order to just ditch all the vehicles, hit the beach, and then fly to Zaki. If Best Archers brought that over on purpose, that's a beautiful play. Oh god, they're actually... Do they believe? Where does it go?
No!
And the crowd
the
silently just
murmur.
breathes.
Damn it.
So where does it go now, though?
South. Can you see the teams believing south? Can you see the migration? Can you see it?
Oh my god, Hospital.
Everyone.
Oh my. If someone gets up, please get a map view on Hospital. Na'Vi, Raise Your Edge, and FaZe Clan, they're all 3 teams are just going towards us.
Aduzi's just swerved off. He's had none of it. He's seen it happening. Sigzy.
He's just driving out them.
Oh my god, Sigzy is just like, get away from here, please. My teammates are trying to get to the hospital. Leave them alone.
Return fire from the windows. Sigzy actually gets damaged, and ubah finished him off because he's weak. Straight off the balcony side, Hospital has become hot. 2 teams here. Sigzy, the initial victim. SIMSY? Where's that? Okay, that's on the bridge. So at least now there is some respite for NIP. They get one answered back on rotation. mxey's going for the old grenade through the window.
He doesn't know what to do. He's like, I saw him, but then he went away. But now the nades come through anyway. Peekaboo gets one.
Whoa!
Fuzzface! Oh, I was wondering where you'd been. Good to see you again, Fuzzface. Nice work.
You can't do that. That's disgusting. What a swing.
Menox is not happy.
You died to a man who was weak. You are now off the team.
I'd just be
That's
terrified.
a shot and a half. The skill level of some of these individuals just freaks me out. Oh well, breach and clear. FaZe Clan, the hospital's theirs. Raise Your Edge, unfortunately, did turn up at the wrong time. Maybe just a few seconds too early. FaZe took the topper end of it. Sigzy did kind of extend a little bit too far by putting pressure onto Na'Vi, but they necessarily might not have known that FaZe Clan were at the opposing side, because I suppose if you're at one end of the hospital, you won't necessarily know who's on the back side of it. So Splitting their roster a little bit too thin has cost them dearly. 16th place for them. ENCE, they're coming across the bridge. There are 2 members left up in North Georgia. I'll just give you an overview of where people are. NIP are still sitting in the fields, to be fair. They're all the way up in North Georgia, hoping it goes their way. As you can see on screen, Liquid, they're in trouble. The mountainside is peppering down upon them. 7 looks like they have the information where ENCE is, hence they're not just running in and blanket bombing these buildings.
Oh, that was a very nice team nade from Edelweiss. I think that was him at least. Like bounced off the other roof.
Imagine if that had actually knocked them.
Oh, brought me deep joy, Richard. I love seeing things go slightly wrong for people. It honestly makes me happier than anything.
You're a wicked woman, Lauren.
It's like imagining if the circle then went north now. That would, again, very, very happy. TRYFFELI couldn't quite convert on anyone other than Edelweiss. Gonna get that. And ENCE are kind of too far away to do much about this. They're gonna get the upgrade.
If this hard shifts to the north, we are going to have an absolute mess on our hands, and NIP are going to be loving life.
Go north. Just for the crack of it. Go on. North. It won't do it. There's literally no reason it would do it. Oh. Oh. Oh, you love to see that. The compound to the west of the road right now on the kind of west coast is actually open for grabs. That's surprising. Doesn't normally happen.
All right, let's think where this ends. Usually we have, so it's going to pull with the water stuff. We're going to go South George. This is actually quite a nice one. You've got West Town finish between maybe even just lower side of hospital. Pretty good ending this one.
Yeah,
I like this area. I think it's good terrain because you've got like multitude of compounds, but you've also got the open areas behind it.
You've also got that death field that everyone... How many people in chat just right now, just out of curiosity, how many of you died who've been randomly caught kind of, I guess, south of the western town of southern Georgia Pod? That's a lot of ways to explain it, but kind of to the west of hospital, that big open field that actually isn't that big, but for some reason you always get caught in it. It's honestly the worst thing in the world. That's in play. And if you're on the southern side of the circle, transitioning away from it, also quite difficult. You have the run off the hill and it's very open.
I can see on the map, SKUIJKE's little pointer is aiming towards NIP. They are in a boat. If he's seen them with that mini, he could do some serious damage. Long transitions that will come through. TSM, the Knights, out in the fields all down south. Na'Vi have really split their resources. They're in a 2-1-1, covering so much ground, which causes a difficult time. By the way, GamerLegion, backside of Everest. And I'm looking at reciprocity. They are all fixated, absolutely fixated on the people in town. They have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
You would not expect it at this time either. You know what I mean? If it would have happened, it should have happened by now. And there's no reason you'd be looking that way. This car's going to give away the game. Whether or not GamerLegion get in on it. Hello?
Turned on.
Monkey's a little animal, this guy. Absolute beast. Fex, though, working it out with the DP. Just unleashing 10 bullets still left on the old dinner plate. Going to switch it out. Shiv to try and save the day here. I don't know if he can do it, really.
The problem is they were so fixated on CrowCrowd. Further down in the compounds, just outside of the old... containers. The instant one-shot just tapped him away. Oh, this went horribly on for both these rosters, right? That's unfortunate. Out in the blue now, just playing for the scrappy ends of this game. And everyone else just looks on them and just says, you know what?
Little laser beams.
Well, it's just 3 points, right? Whoever picks them up. Udia's bailed on it. Fair play. At least stays alive for now. How long? Kill feed may suggest otherwise. I'm seeing bullets going his way in that vehicle. It could be up in smoke any second.
Should be dead.
And he's just going towards FaZe. Yeah, that's...
3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. No surprise on the circle. This is kind of what we expect. It's the one after this where it gets a little bit more interesting. I actually like where NIP are. That's a compound that I always think is very strong in this. You get a really nice line of sight around the place. You can split that 2-2. Beautiful. G2 starting to clean things up. They were keeping GamerLegion out in the eastern side as they tried to work their way off Everest. Didn't work out for them. Team Liquid could have joined in on that, but it looks like they're working with limited amounts here. They're not in a great position themselves.
G2 will have a job on the round unless they manage to get a hard shift, which goes their way. Same applies for Team Liquid. Vehicles, yes, you could say you can kind of run this one. There is some protection from Hospital, given those hillsides, so where Team Liquid are, but really, where do you go? They're in the hangars of CrowCrowd. They'll be able to stand on the boxes. Again, now you've got vaulting and everything else that comes into play. Those becomes even more dangerous because you can get multiple angles in the windows. So any kind of defense they did have, it's null and void. SIMSY's got a K9, so if he can land a banger of a shot onto one of CrowCrowd, they've split their resource between all 3 hangars. If he can remove one, it at least forces the second player into CrowCrowd to go for the res. That only puts them down to 1 man.
Do you know what? I like TSM's positioning here. I like what they're doing.
I'm surprised it's open.
That's a big area. Like you were saying, Na'Vi kind of had that big split before.
Yep.
They moved themselves together, which is fine. But I like TSM's kind of position here. Same with NIP, they've moved further forward. So that kind of puts them very close by towards 7, ENCE, and just about everyone else. ENCE's going to try and move up. Oh, actually, they're going way further than I expected. They're going right towards 7. You actually haven't taken these houses. They're in the kind of row behind, but it's risky play here. And Liquid's positioning was pretty poor, to be honest. They hadn't had much to work with. I thought maybe G2 would have pressured them earlier, or maybe had line of sight towards them, but they didn't have it. So Liquid have stayed alive for now, but they're starting to lose out on that momentum and players.
SIMSY was the one who, if they were going to take out CrowCrowd and maybe move through their compound, be the one to open that one up. Unfortunately, though, someone had his number writ. Now we're down to just Ibby and Jeems alive. It is a solid duo, so I'm sure they can do some work with it. NIP are just being gifted crits, and it's the 3rd one that they may have now. There's definitely at least 2 between them.
It looks like the Nations Cup server, doesn't it? Circle.
Let me think.
1v4.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I remember this. Oh, go on, Aitzy. Oh, no.
Did enough damage at least. Teammate picks it off. Excuse me, Pokemon.
I wanted it to be an exciting shot, and it wasn't. What's exciting is Team Liquid not having a good time here. Ibby's your last man alive. And he's kind of screwed. I guess you can operate easier as a one-man player, just kind of going on your own and just not having to worry about your teammates or anything, but kind of sucks if I'm honest. They're very far out here, so I don't see he's going to get much done. Ultra's been confirmed. Calvin Klein are able to arrive. And there it is, Ibby's been called off. So it felt inevitable, and it kind of has been. So a little bit of an underwhelming performance here.
Hospital's not quite central, but it's as damn close it's going to get. FaZe are happy. The harder factor is they have to watch 4 different angles. G2 are trying to send it forward as close as they can humanly get. The problem is the more noise they make, the more attention they will draw. And it isn't FaZe Clan that's the problem. They don't realize this, but CrowCrowd. The team we are locking on with are just coming over the hill, and the better point for this team is they are defended from FaZe Clan. That's a 2-for-1. He just landed the world star of a nade on the G2.
To see that. G2 down to, I think, 1-0 as your only one alive. Actually, no, tell Chris is just way further back. Chris is off in the back lines. So CrowCrowd really nicely played, just pretty dominant. They didn't mess around with that. They were quickly in there, pushing G2 aside and leaving just Chris to watch as his teammates get slaughtered. Now the circle moved in the meantime. We've kind of centralized towards the northwest of Hospital, or I guess the western town of Georgia, Paul, however you want to put it. It's still teetering towards the coastline, so it's quite an interesting one. I like this. It does mean that 7's position, NIP's position, ENCE's position becomes even stronger. This puts TSM in a bit of a spot of bother. They might have to play from more of a secondary compound, maybe something less ideal. But again, Na'Vi, okay, a little further out than center, but they're all right for now. FaZe still fine, CrowCrowd, but it's Chris really who's kind of screwed here.
This next circle kind of dictates who does and who doesn't win this game. And when I say that, this could quite literally, this next circle, eliminate 3 or 4 teams instantly. We either go to urban combat, or we move towards all the buildings area. In the west town, there's a lot of teams just bunkered down there. However, if this hard shifts to the south, we're in the open. There's no survivability.
No.
This is a really tough predicament that teams are going to be in here.
Yeah, I kind of want it to go south, just because I think it'd be fun. See what happens with it.
People would have to work their way through the town, and they would have to breach and clear. And the unfortunate thing is that 7's at the front. And they're holding the stronger compounds. There's a long one, at least, with the 2 double windows either side of it, like a barn kind of thing. And then you've got a level 3. When I say level 3, there's 3 tiers to it. So they'll have overview of this entire thing. Edelweiss could just watch everything that unfolds in front of him. His teammates just have to watch the back lines and it's job done.
Ooh, a doozy. They can see TSM's line of sight here. Iroh going to find at least PokeMolodoy. Couple of tags. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Just kind of reminding each other they both know where they are. TSM's options going southeast are not looking so good, but that then puts them in the spot of bother I was wondering about. If they didn't have vehicles, they are going to be faced with the fact of maybe that open field is going to be their next biggest task that rolls off the northern side of this hill they are currently residing on. Now, beyond this, though, we need to look where the circle goes, and you can't call it either way here. This is just going to be a fun one.
Come on, then. Show us what you got.
Ooh, okay, so let's look at what's actually in this. Aduzi's position now becomes even more paramount. That gate keeps TSM. You need to get in vehicles and move. That's it. You've got to get somewhere. It may be that tiny kind of open house, the front with the open house on it. That might be their best bet. They might just try and send one to it, because 7 could just spray into them a whole lot. Or they opt for this area. But with Aduzi's positioning, as mentioned, it's going to make it quite tricky, but he unleashes, only leaving 7 bullets. Now going to have to switch over, try and get rid of Gustav in some way or some form. Not going to have the complete nade package that you used to, but Gustav going to find a bit of pressure back, but he needs some help. TSM can't get to him fast enough, and the rest of Na'Vi are on the way. Damage being done, but it's not a great deal as Senya and Bestloch find Gustav and Rory, and it's gone from bad to worse for TSM. That circle is what you just do not want in that position.
This all comes off the back of Aduzi moving early, getting to that point where no one else can do anything, and he gatekeeps them from moving forward. Big kill, huge kill to take down Gustav. Allows any advancement from TSM and basically just border patrols them into a scenario where they will funnel into the open arms of Na'Vi. NIP, utility has been used and committed, and for very good reason. They're now inside the circle, they're now inside a compound, they can at least survive. Michael goes for the little shack you mentioned, something to play with, better than nothing. Ira's still yet to make a move, he might sit back here or he might just die to Na'Vi, to be honest. It's going to be extremely difficult. Smokes are up for CrowCrowd, Desperados, desperate times, desperate measures. You got to play with everything you have. And a slight deflate off the backside of the hill. It might all be Calvin has.
Oh, Iroh doing the dance, but he can't escape the eyes looking towards him. Na'Vi hold. Now, they've got control of the south until FaZe potentially would want to get involved. That's not yet to be the case, as FaZe have great circle positioning. That northern side is very busy, and Eiffel again. This guy played, he was kind of left in that TSM NIP battle. He was the third man to it. He didn't get too much done. He could have, but it is down to him to kind of snake it in. T-Bone's still alive, but he's isolated towards the northeast here, dealing with TomiL. NIP are very close by, actually, towards 7. I wonder if they're going to go on this. I don't know how much utility NIP have, but that always feels like a silly question. It's NIP. They should have some.
Being teammates, though, and they could try and dictate how this one unfolds. T-Bone might be able to make enough noise that ENCE and every other team looks towards him and fixates over there. That'll allow Eiffel to push up. Yes, they're in a very tricky scenario where they're basically just playing for the scraps of the circle here. But if he can get in and stay alive, this is better than nothing whatsoever. Eiffel actually catches miikaz in the backlines, but instantly gets shut down. Good response from Rustanmar.
That was quick.
Instas him and at least gets his player back on his feet.
And NIP's heard this, so they know there's a team down there as well. There's just so many players around this area. It's rough. Now 7 now have pretty much the crown of that area. They hold what's
FaZe
essentially into it. Now FaZe need to leave this area, and that's very tricky. Na'Vi can keep them very much boxed into this. PokeMolodoy and Senya, as long as they're careful on their peaks, they're in a good enough spot. MBS on the move. We have NIP breaching the building. Sadovnik, Buster in danger. Here we go. Guns at the ready. Sadovnik holds the angle. He does take down MBS. A quick flush, but the trade is instantaneous from Miraku. They will not go down without a fight, and there is a quick cleanup on the 2 players holding this one compound. Little by little, they're taking steps in the right direction. Edelweiss still king of the hill, king of the compound over there, but he is now looking a little weaker without his subjects beside him.
CrowCrowd went flying over the hill, and the mini hospital buildings they've now turned up to, but unfortunately they are open to the back lines. TomiL, last man standing. 4 Desperados does have an eye line on them, so he can feed the information to Digital Athletics accidentally and bottleneck these players into other members of different teams. FaZe Clan instantly. mxey finds one out in the open. Tiikzu goes down. Na'Vi. That's one hell of a long shot from the hillside onto TomiL in the buildings on the back lines.
Here comes FaZe. They're moving in towards it.
Na'Vi have consolidated all their players to this hill, though.
But I don't know if they've realized how close Na'Vi are. I see grenades out, so I feel like they know somewhat, but ubah's already gone down. CIS action kicking off, and now where's the final blow? Fuzzface could have had a really nice angle on this. Risky for sure, but it could have been big. He's not capitalized while he could have, and now they're resetting the positions for Na'Vi. Aitzy, they're going to keep BestLodge locked to that tree. FaZe now making progress, trying to push forward, but this is very tricky, a very tough hillside to try and clear out, but the Blues going to be on their back pretty soon. mxey's going to have to move in. Aitzy needs to be careful as well. You've got Senna just over the other ridge.
He's the next obstacle. They don't realize how close he actually is. So as soon as he comes around this corner, bit of blue damage, well, instantly just kind of puts him down. Does finally crest over. Senna still holds the point. BestLodge just snaps instantly to mxey, puts him in the grave. Fuzzface now turned up, but it might be a little bit too late. Unfortunately, there is fire from a distance. And the cleanup crew is here. Na'Vi win the battle phase, are down and dead.
Oh, I thought that nade almost had Pokemon then.
That was a death nade? He was.
He took him down with him. It went.
Fair play.
Oh my God, look at this end. Look at that field. All right, so we have 3 teams up here. NIP, ENCE, and 7. Edelweiss and Crab are getting just bombarded. That Molly's in and out. I don't know how they're not dead. If I'm honest, the whole place is on fire.
Finally won out of 17.9.
They've got to go. They don't know about NIP though. I don't know if they know how close NIP are. Crab's just going to buy time. If he can take someone down, that's perfect. This compound is what they want. They want this building. Rustanmar going on his own was a little brave then, but he got the job done. Maybe they do realize NIP are close. They had to make the push swiftly. I'm not sure. Anyway, TSM still has Michael alive, holding on to this with skin of his teeth at this point. NIP playing this as late as they can. Na'Vi starting to gain terrain. You do have DA still in the southeast, but I'm curious to see how this plays out. 5 teams, 11 players.
For Michael, he's got 2 options. He's top of the table currently. Why bother giving points to other teams that are still alive? You sit, you hold this one, you die to the blue, or you take the vehicle, and maybe you drive it and get close and use it as some sort of stability just to hold still. Vard, NIP, nades in palms is the usual quote we like to say. Vard's here with the molly as well. They might follow this one through. ENCE this time again and tasted their own medicine.
Yeah, they are right now. NIP trying to make the move. Na'Vi's still going to be laying down fire. miikaz there towards Miraku. This time not so easy to make the breach. There's the good trade though. Very risky peaks coming out from ENCE here. I'm not sure if I like these individual peaks. It just doesn't work so well in those scenarios. NIP do end up standing. Na'Vi though, large and in charge. The only threat was DA, but now fire came from afar and they've been humbled, slowed down slightly. 6 players, a lot of them were Na'Vis. The rest were DAs. A beautifuldeath trying to make the move. The nade could have been good. It doesn't quite get the players. They do still have 1 man standing there. Let's go close to the circle center point. It is a beautifuldeath. He is still the closest man to this.
They had the utility and they used it, but it didn't really find anything. It wasn't used to best of its ability, unfortunately. And now they're split in a 1-1 kind of scenario, so there's no real opportunity for a refrag. I'm surprised they haven't pushed this or kept this hill a bit more. Because once Na'Vi get on top of this, they have the height advantage. Why not work as a duo here? Hunt them down while they were damaged and put them in the grave, because now you've basically allowed Na'Vi to surround you.
So look at the way they did that. That was so well drilled. You have 1 peeking, 2 double face, so you don't get the chance to at least find more than 1. Really well done by Na'Vi. That micro play right there was absolutely perfect. 13 kills as well from this team. Vard now left in the 1v3. If he can do something, it'd be a miracle. He is not that close to center point. So for him, this is going to be very, very tough. Plenty of smokes to be played with, but he's been spotted. Now the game's up. Now he can't get away with it. More smokes being put down. Maybe trying to find that 1v1. Maybe do some damage. Maybe do something. But here come the nades. Here comes the blue eventually, and here comes Na'Vi pushing over the ridge, and it's going to be good by Na'Vi, picking up a very convincing victory.
Here comes the blue. There goes the yellow. Na'Vi put him in the grave, last player standing on the map. And it wouldn't be a day without a Na'Vi win. They have been playing fantastic this phase so far. Had a bit of a rough week last week, which was quite surprising, to be honest, because how consistent they are consistently is insane. Their level of play, their direction, their stability and command as a unit. Like, whoever the IGL is, I believe it's a doozy, but IGL-wise is incredible. They just don't run in stupidly. There's no big YOLO players going for the odd kill here and there. They work as a unit and they play as a team. And it's so fantastic to see when they execute something that looks against the odds and they come out on top.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Senya's IGL right now. I'm not too sure unless they switch things up. And I'm not sure who we'll be speaking to, but we'll find out soon. Sam looks like she's getting herself ready to have a chat with the boys down there. Sam, how's it looking with Na'Vi?
We are here with Na'Vi, chicken dinner in the bag. Talk me through that the last few minutes of that game and what the strategy was.
I mean, we knew like we have one guy from NIP. I mean, last circle, yes. And we have 2 guys somewhere, and we didn't know about DA, so it's happy for us. They didn't kill us, so, and after this we killed them, and we knew we're like 3 versus 1, and it was easy game for us.
Let's chat a little bit about Sims. Mentioned it there, not such a great week 2, but you've come back today. You've got this chicken dinner. What's changed? What did you guys do during the week to get that morale back up and obviously get you in a frame where you could win?
I mean, I don't think we changed like a lot something. We're just playing our game, and it was a bad week for us. We just try to fix big mistakes, but like every team can make a mistake, so it just was a bad week, like bad luck for us. And we have still 4 more weeks, so we will try to our best.
There you have it, Na'Vi. Not too worried at all about a bit of a rough week because they know they've got 4 more. Still one of the most dominating teams here in Phase 3. Let's head over now to the desk for our final game.
Welcome back, as we, of course, have Na'Vi getting themselves chicken dinner here on Erangel to start things off. Traditionally, one of their better maps overall when it comes to Phase 2, etc., and everything, how it's gone down here. Na'Vi getting themselves points on the board. They already mentioned in that previous interview there that they know they had a rough week too, but anybody can make mistakes in these moments, and I think that's fair, and especially with the caliber of the lobby that we have here in Phase 3, it's even more true from face to face.
Yeah, of course, and looking at Na'Vi though, in this game in particular, we saw in Circle 2, or Circle 1, let's start there.
Sure.
It was very big, it was very northern.
Big.
Most of the teams, they were expecting the circle to go up on the north side, so we saw most of them up there. I think we had 4 teams on the south side only, and it was because some of them were late on the rotations, like Raise Your Edge, Reciprocity, and Na'Vi. Now, that kind of benefited them because Circle 2 went back down so much to the south that they could literally just choose anything, and they kind of knew that, all right, the circle's going to come back to us down to the 4th circle.
I just got to mention that before we actually move on too far from it, that flick from Fuzzface in Hospital was mind-blowingly good.
It was insane.
I was,
mind-blowing.
That was a mind-blowing explosion right there. Yeah, that was sick. It was off to see that, especially our the bigger flicks where he doesn't even see. He doesn't even see it within his kind of vision. He just knows exactly where to just turn him in. It's
like Neo in the Matrix.
It was a headshot as well. Amazing to see. But overall, very interesting circle here. You can definitely see the players that are choosing kind of to play around the area where you have a lot of cover, and especially here around these the high ground here that really paid off for them. I was expecting FaZe to have a bit of a better game, but I feel like they stayed a bit too long in the hospital and effectively held themselves out there, because Na'Vi was going to be able to gatekeep them and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, really well played by Na'Vi. A lot of kills so far in the bank for them.
I mean, FaZe should have read that circle and knew that, all right, we need to take that ridge before any other teams were taking it. Sadly, though, it was, or unluckily enough, it was Na'Vi who took it. Probably the worst enemies they could have faced on that hill there.
Absolutely. Here's our 9 through 16, and again, kind of top-heavy in terms of our lobby as a whole when we get to look through our 1 through 8 here. But 3 teams with 0 points Team Liquid not having the best of days. They got themselves a 3rd position on the board and some other stuff, but beyond that, no points coming in from them that game. As we do look through our 1 through 8, Na'Vi 24 points, and NIP getting themselves another 2nd place with 12 points coming in as well. NIP has had a blinder of a day so far.
Yeah, I mean, their worst position was a 5th place, which is also the same for TSM, actually.
Yeah.
Their worst placement in the games today so far is this one, and it's a 5th place with 3 kills. I mean, still 6 points as a worst game. That's pretty good.
And Na'Vi coming out with big numbers, as usual, when they actually get themselves a win.
2100 damage right there. Also, the compound they're in, obviously, with the shrink that we had and the control that they took early on, just shows on how effective they are. Once they get to shoot at people, they just put so much damage out, and like the impact it does to late game in terms of mets, smokes, all of and your armor, the durability on the armor. It's just so important for them to do that because it helps them so much further on.
Well, seeing FaZe Clan stats here as well, they could have gotten much more damage and kills in terms of if they just took that ridge early on. Because you gotta say, like, yeah, Na'Vi took that ridge and they kind of won the game because of that. It could have been the opposite there. If FaZe Clan won that fight, they did get the initial knock as well.
And also, like, if they were out there doing it earlier and kind of took some of the control, they would have been able to stop them from moving out of the compound that Na'Vi was in. It's a pretty it's a close compound, but once you move out, there's like when they make it to the ridge, if they get that ridge, then it's game over. Then it's more like a 50-50 game situation instead of FaZe Clan having the upper hand from the ridge line there.
In terms of circle expectations as well, bearing in mind the playing path, etc., I really wasn't expecting this kind of circle coming out.
You know, I mean, I love these northern circles, but when it shrinks back, we see some spicy games. I was really hoping for some sort of a Sarky ending or something up there. It's so long so long ago we've seen them, and I really love them because it's so hard to get to like anywhere because there's only kind of one entrance to come in from the east and also of course from George, but nobody takes both, nobody does the rotation anymore. They've seen it fail once and then they're going to do that again.
Froz and I were theorizing a northern shift about halfway through that game, which in theory could have occurred.
I said it was possible.
It was possible.
And it was a minimal chance.
Yes, of course, but there is always that moment, and the great moment in PUBG where those kind of ridiculous things happen and it just creates utter chaos. And we've had them happen a few times in some of the phases that we've had here, where you hear the entirety of the arena kind of all of a sudden get because they then have to kind of figure out exactly how they're going to deal with that. And that's one thing I love in PUBG.
Yeah, but you could also see that from NIP in the previous game here. In Circle 2, or Circle 3 actually. 3, when we knew that, okay, Circle 4 has the land ratio, it's going to go back to the south. NIP was the only team that was still up in the north place. And they had a few different kind of ways to get down to the south if they wanted to. They could have taken a bridge, they could have gone east, but they went for a boat. And it's kind of telling how good they could like tell that there's probably going to be someone camping the bridge, so we don't want to take that. At the same time, taking a boat, we make ourselves sure that we have a way in that we can work with later on. And I mean, it worked out. They got a second place with it.
Yeah, you've got to be careful of the bridge.
But also, it's home turf for them. They should know this area very much. Like, they've been the realtors of South George before. They should be able to know exactly where to play, the areas where to play and what to hold. I was actually expecting them to kind of, yes, it's nice to see them second place, but I was expecting them in a kind of more in an upper hand position. Yeah. But we did have a lot of kind of unexpected shifts, so yes.
Well, yeah, it comes down to this Circle 2 shift there, because they were up on the north side already back then. They thought it was going to go up there as well.
They're in a great spot for that, so yeah.
Definitely so. Let's take a look, of course, as we do have our hashtag with AskPEL. You guys can still get involved. I'm not sure when we're going to be looking on those, but eventually we will be able to do so. So make sure to keep sending questions or just ask Froz how he enjoys whatever you enjoy. Do you do extreme ironing?
What?
Do you do extreme ironing?
What is that?
This is my AskPEL. Do you do extreme ironing? You climb up a mountain, you take an iron and an ironing board, and you do some ironing.
I do that twice a week.
See? There you go. Scoop here at PEL. Let's take a look. I don't know what happened. Let's take a look at the standings overall. TSM up at the top, still here. But Na'Vi, with that win, with the 24 points that came in, that is massive stuff for them to be able to just push them up a little bit.
NIP guys, look at they're in 8th spot now. They have jumped so much this week so far, and also talks to how close our mid pack still is. If you look down all the way to CrowCrowd, DESPERADO, all these guys, it's pretty close already. And just with a good day like we've seen NIP had today, they're jumping up already, and they're within kind of jumping distance and one more good game, they're going to be within striking distance tomorrow and the rest of the week like G2.
It was 4 spots. So if they were to continue that kind of trend, because they were 12th coming in today, going to 8th, and if they get themselves even that next day, they'd be, as you say, just really rocketing high.
Look at bottom 4 right now, though. Because, I mean, we're still pretty early into the phase, not that far in, but the bottom 4 will be the teams that will be relegated at the end of the phase. So right now, you still don't want to be down there. You want to be towards the top. And right now, it's pretty even, though. I mean, you can still have teams like NIP on 8th place could easily drop down there if those teams step it up.
Definitely something to consider, and of course all these teams definitely want to be avoiding that relegation position. We saw how deadly that was last time around. Some of the most hyped games that we have here are those relegation promotion matches, because there is so much heated combat going on because of what's at stake, which is very, very important. And of course that will be happening at the end of phase 3 as well. At the moment, kill leaders, SIMSY sitting at the top pretty comfortably, 62 kills.
He took that lead last weekend. I mean, he had, what, 24 kills in one day?
Absolutely insane.
Jeez
I don't
Louise.
think we're going to see that record broken anytime soon.
I think that's still more kills than some people
and
have
actually,
overall.
ubah has 47, mxey also has 47, Senya has 46, Braexco 45, Page 43, and Iroh 42. So it's very close on the top 10 as well. So there's a lot of these very skilled players that's within striking distance to the top 5. So it's nice to see that these guys are trying to get ahead and stay ahead.
Yannis is currently sitting on 41 kills. I mean, we saw him in the top there week 1. Then dropped off a little bit during week 2. G2 had kind of a bad week back then.
I think overall, though, that's okay for someone who is completely new to the PEL stage, right? Like, you can't be super consistent from the very get-go and then just keep going forever and ever.
No, but on the other hand, ETZChrizZ is the lowest frag on G2 right now.
Wow.
So, like, yeah, so it really kind of shows that they're changing roles, maybe changing positions as well, and maybe putting Yannis in the front here.
Wait, what? Is that Team Russia doing really well on damage? Are we at Nations Cup again? What's going on?
Well, SIMSY was in 3rd place there.
Yeah, well, just let's not talk about how Finland did. But yeah, impressive stuff here by our Russian compatriots here, with ubah, Senya, and Aduzi getting themselves the spots.
I don't think this is like any surprise, the top 5 that we're seeing there. It's great to see that Iroh is back up there, even though on a new team, being able to fit to TSM so quickly, actually, and just adjusting himself to it.
I think they must have been absolutely elated when they'd actually been able to, you know, take Iroh into the fold. Obviously, they were doing well in the previous phase, were TSM, but they are are they still in 2nd place or 1st place?
They're 1st place.
They're 1st place right now, yeah.
Pretty comfortably as well.
Ultimately, they didn't change huge amounts. They didn't change huge swaths of their gameplay and things like that. But that one change to their roster seemed to be paying massive dividends.
Well, I'd say it's 2 changes in the roster.
Okay.
They changed the coach as well, and now you have Ditz here instead of Yannick that is coaching the team.
And unfortunately for Yannick, finished his group yesterday and didn't make it into the final stage with no tag team. Unfortunate. They got 9th. And in the last game, they were actually in a position to take it home, but they got 5th and not enough kills there. If they won that game, the last game, they would have taken it home. But still playing at a high level. Also, Ditz he transitioned early. He did play years ago though, or a year or some ago, but transitioned early into being a coach role, and has been one of the most successful coaches and probably one of the most experienced coaches also in the scene so far.
Final game of Erangel for today. What do you guys want to see? Anything in particular?
I mean, I still want to see more coming up from FaZe and Liquid. I was kind of disappointed from this game alone. FaZe did get themselves in 7th place with a few kills, but still not enough in my books.
I want to see Ratio just get 1 more kill so they're not tied with Desperados on having the worst state so far in PEL.
That would be useful, I think. Obviously, you don't want to be having bad days. Just in general.
I actually said the Crimson the same, and he said like, yeah, but it's bad, but we've had some really bad days, and then the 2 other days we did really well.
How many was the worst? It's 5 points.
5 points in 5 games in 1 day.
That's like the equivalent of dropping your sandwich everywhere.
And then picking it up again, having to eat it.
And then dropping again.
Beyond the 5-second rule. That's how bad that is, all right? Anyway, whatever. We're going to go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we return here, we have one final game for today here for PEL Phase 3.